So hello and welcome once again to my layout New Junction. Right, it's time for a bit more scenic work because I have a new toy. So I said I've got a new toy, and here it is. This is the Creality Falcon A1 Pro. Now, it looks a bit like a pizza oven, but it's a rather futuristic laser engraver slash cutter. And as you can see, it's got a nice pizza oven drawer, and it's also got, as before, if I lift all my computers and stuff up, the lid at the top with the camera as well. So it's very similar setup to the previous one, except it's much more tidier. You don't have to assemble it. You just sort of take it apart, as you saw in the clips just a minute ago. Yeah, all being well, this is the new, slightly tidier version of the previous laser cutter. Hopefully, it'll work very well for the layout. Anyway, before we go any further, I need to address my dangly bits. So now you join me on the floor and you're having a look at my dangly bits. Now, because this unit isn't particularly well ventilated, at least at this level, all the vents are at the ceiling, I needed to do something about the wobbly end. So I got myself the Creality smoke purifier. Now, this is basically a filter which will filter out the all the smoke and things that come out of this, which is the air extractor from the main unit. So I'm going to put it all together and I'll let you know how it goes. So that was nice and simple, just connecting up to the smoke purifier so this room doesn't end up smelling of cut MDF, which is great at first, but after a while it does start to get a bit tedious. So I'll let you know if it works. So the Creality A1 Falcon Pro isn't just a nifty box. There are some very nice new additions. The first one you'll notice is the all-new touchscreen to the side. Now, this just simply plug in. But it is very good. You can connect to Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, etc. And of course control all your projects, particularly if you want to connect to a USB, which I've currently not got connected, and then the files would appear inside and you can literally control it just like this. Very simple, and as you can see, it goes straight to work. And of course that's not all, because I think one of the best features happens to be here on the inside of the unit. Now, with previous Creality lasers you had to manually set the laser head with the screws on the side, but for the first time we have a autofocus feature. So using what's similar to a laser pen, you simply put your material of choice into the unit, you press the autofocus button, and away it goes. The laser head lowers itself into position. It's absolutely fantastic. And that's not all. Creality has also released a new range of supporting accessories, the first of which is this honeycomb base. Now, maybe for new users amongst you might not realise the benefit this adds. However, with the previous Avenger you had horizontal, vertical slats, depending which way you put them in, and that could often lead to, as you're cutting through your design, bits falling through and then lifting up and getting stuck. So as the laser passed, it then caught your say MDF or plywood, and then it would drag the whole thing and you'd ruin the cut basically. And this was quite random. So having a honeycomb base in theory stops this while still adding to the airflow needed for such a machine. Also, they have this new 2-watt laser, so much lower powered, but it's much better for engraving metals. So things like dog tags would be a prime example. But it's very nice. Again, clip in, clip out, very easy, and of course uses the new autofocus feature. So you simply put your material on the cutting base, press autofocus, and away you go. And again, details for all of these things, the honeycomb, the accessories, and of course the Creality laser range, particularly the A1 Pro, which I'm showing in this video, will all be in links down below. Right, turn the laptop back on. Now, I wouldn't normally use this computer for Lightburn, the software which I use for the Creality laser cutter, because my other one is at home in my office. Now, I would normally either load it onto this memory card, which is in the end, and then bring it along, plug it into the side of the unit, or this unit is also Bluetooth and Wi-Fi enabled, but as I live several miles away from this machine, I'm not going to use that. Right, hopefully we're all set up. The pizza oven is ready. I'm now going to, using a nice scrap piece of MDF, put this under, and hopefully we'll be able to get the containers cut out. And here it is, the all-new container kit I've made myself. So, first things first, I'll pop out all the bits, and then using the Expo file, I'll file off all the little spigots. So as I mentioned, designing this on Lightburn, you're basically creating a rectangle box. So nice and simple, you've got your floor, and there's 2 notches either end, which correspond with the sides. Now I would recommend gluing the sides in first, and then they sit in there and there, and then once they're glued you can put the back on and the front on, just paying attention, windows go highest side up. And of course once you're finished you can place your roof on top. It's up to you whether you glue it on or whether you leave it open, and then you can add lights and detail to this should you wish. Now the windows themselves, they're quite robust, so feel free to poke them about. The centres just pop out like that, and then the windows will nicely fit in. I've made them ever so slightly too big, just so they fit in really well and they won't come out. Now this is probably a good stage to, you could either rush ahead and glue it all together now, but I like to keep these to one side, and just to make my life easier I'll paint them up before gluing them in. So as long as you don't stick the roof in, you can add these in very easily later on. So if I come to the front of the container now, the door in the centre of the frame here is actually cut out. It's now held in by the same joins that hold in the rest of the frame. So if you wanted to, you can push it out, file it down, and position it in the open position should you wish. Nice and easy, but as you can see, it's very strong. But first step is definitely just to get the nail file and go over all the edges just to make sure there's nothing sticking out. So it's time to make a start, and the way I like to build this, I've done 3 or 4 of them now just to make sure it's right, is to get the base first and do the sides. So using this Deluxe Materials laser cut kit glue, just put a couple of dabs on, nice and easy, nothing too heavy, and you'll see these line up. And of course it dries very quickly. Now the rectangles that come out of the windows, so the window holes, they actually make very good set squares for this. So as it's drying, it doesn't dry instantly, but it's very quick. You can use them just to make sure that it's sat level, which it is, and then it isn't because I've played with it. And there you go, simple as that. You can see now the main thing's drying off, and away you go, and then straight to the other side. So once these ends are relatively dry, it is very simple to go on to the next phase, and because it is sort of just under 2mm thickness, you do get a lot of play in this kit, and of course using the laser glue, it doesn't stick it rigid, so you've still got plenty of working time. So next phase, as you can see, you've got the cladding mimicked panels. Now the one with the shorter side is actually referenced to the back. You can put it any which way you want. The window is central, etc. But the narrow piece of cladding is to the rear. So what I'm going to do is just size that up, make sure it's all right. Pop the windows out. And then same again, the odd dab of glue here and there. Easy peasy. And then of course, remembering windows go to the top. And while that's drying, we'll pop that to one side and I'll grab out my tiny cutting mat. And it's time to cut out these various bits. So if we have a closer look at them, you've got 2 types of post here. You've got one with a bend on each end. Now that is the guttering that goes on each end. There are 3 pieces of those, just in case one breaks, and there are 5 of the sort of jacks that go on the underside or the side of the container. So again, you could paint these separate before you glue them on, just to be easier. But for this video, I'm just going to turn the cutting board open, just slightly go over them, and then they'll pop out. But I'll stick them on now, and I'll show you exactly where they go. Now in true Blue Peter fashion, here's one I made earlier. Now, as you can see, the jacks go on the sort of 4 sides there, and then the guttering goes underneath the roof lip on each end. Nice and simple. And of course, once it's painted up, that'll just add a nice bit of detail. And of course, it lifts the model up ever so slightly. Now, the reason why I've dug out my earlier prototype is because when positioning the jacks, there's 2 things to be aware of. So this will make sense if you've got one in front of you. Now I've done it so that the one of the ends is bigger than the other, so it's slightly thicker down here. One side is thicker, one side is thin. Now the thicker side, the bigger chunky side, goes inward to the building. Now that just lends its support, so when it's underneath the building, it actually has something solid to grip onto, and dictates the height of how high the support is as well. The other thing to note as well, that is, if you are doing a double stack, as I'm about to do, as you can probably tell, you also want to make sure that the stacks are lined up so that when they sit together, they are strong enough to sit on each other's jacks, which is exactly what they're for. So yeah, you have to pay extra special attention if you're going to do that. And of course, that does mean I have to dig out the laser again and do some stairs for the upstairs. And there we are, a nice little site office for the end of the station. Adds that little bit of modern image something. Now, once I've addressed the ground cover, put a fence in, things like that, the odd network rail van or something similar, I think it'll really start to tie in this end of the station here. So, as ever, as before, I will make a few of these available just in case anyone wants one. Links down below in the description, but I will say thank you as always for watching. Thank you to the channel patrons and members. And, well, I think we're ready to start bringing the ground scenery on this upper level this way. So ballast and ground cover, I think is... I've been putting it off because I wanted to run the trains, but no, I think the time is right. Anyway, I'll also get on with painting these as well. So, big thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you also want to find out any information on the Creality Falcon A1 Pro, the links will be down below in the description. And I'll see you very soon in the next one, because I have something rather special coming. And that something rather special is this, the giant, huge laser cut kit of the Watford Mary Street flats. Now, these flats have been seen on Making Tracks. They are there, but believe it or not, this is a huge building. I think the box weighs 3 kilos, so there's a lot of ply in here. And believe it or not, this is the smallest building on Making Tracks. So yeah, I'm looking forward to building this, a proper kit, rather than my attempt at one with my little containers. But as I said, really enjoying this, really enjoying the build so far, and I'm going to try and tie the scenery up around this and the various things on the layout. So, as I mentioned, thanks for watching, thanks for tuning into the podcast, and I'll see you very soon in the next one. Bye for now.